Hey, what's up? Hello. If you're new here, my name is Kayla and you are watching Kayla's Bookish Vibes. Today's video, I'm so excited. I feel like I haven't really sat down to talk to you guys in so long. I haven't done a sit down video here on my channel in quite a while. So I'm really happy and excited to do this one with you guys. This is going to be all of my anticipated reads. Maybe not all of them, but the ones that I have like at the top of my mind, like the most anticipated reads that I have for quarter two. First of all, can you believe that we are in quarter two? Quarter one is over. By the time this video goes up, quarter one is over for 2025 and we are entering quarter two, which is crazy to think about, but time waits for no man. So these are some of the books that I am looking forward to in quarter two. Now, most of these books are either romance or historical fiction. These just so happen to be the books that I'm most excited about, and hopefully if you haven't heard of them, you can add them to your TBR list. You can add them to your list to check out at the library, to request from your library. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. I only have about 9 books. The first book is a romance. I'm going to, should I put it on this side? I think I'll put the books on this side. Whew. Ciao. Okay, the first book I'm excited about, I've actually already read because I got an ARC of this book, and it is called No Ordinary Love by Myah Ariel. I actually did a reading vlog here on my channel, so I will leave that link down below for you if you want to know some of my in-depth thoughts about this book. I did end up giving it 4 stars, and I absolutely loved it. I love Myah Ariel's books in general. This is the second book that I have read by her. The first book I read was last year, and I believe I got that book as an ARC as well, and that was called When I Think of You. I really enjoyed that book as well. I think she writes very sexy, sensual romances without them being super spicy. And I know that probably sounds like it's contradicting, but if you've read her books, then you know exactly what I mean. They are very grown and sexy without being super duper spicy. Now there is spice in her romances. These are not closed door romances, but they are slow burn in my opinion, and I think her spice is always perfectly paced and perfectly placed. I also love the fact that her books are always about more than just the romance. Like, there are other things going on in her books. For me, Myah Ariel is kind of a cross between Kennedy Ryan and someone like Christina Forrest, who typically writes like more sweet romances, fluffy romances, versus Kennedy Ryan, who tends to write like more serious romances. Myah Ariel's books are like right in the middle for me, and I think she strikes the perfect balance. The male main character in that book plays for the major leagues. He's an MLB player, but we don't really talk a lot about baseball. Like, it doesn't like get into the nitty gritty of the sport. So if you're not a baseball fan, you're still going to love this book. We get bits and pieces of his career, but it's not super baseball heavy. And our female main character is a pop star. I loved this aspect. I love all the musical references that were placed in this book. So our female main character is going through a divorce, and she ends up meeting our male main character in the midst of her divorce. They fall in love. This is only one POV, so that was a bit disappointing when I read the book. However, I do believe that Myah Ariel does a really good job at giving us bits and pieces of the male's life and his perspective through dialogue with our female main character. So as our female main character is getting to know the males, so are we. I do, however, wish that this was a dual POV romance. It is not. Just a snippet of this book. It says a PR relationship between a pop superstar and a pro athlete bad boy turns into so much more in this swoony romance from the acclaimed author of When I Think of You. Again, I did a reading vlog on this, so if you want to know more about the synopsis or you want to know more of my thoughts on this book, I will leave that video linked down below, but I gave it 4 stars and I highly recommend this book. This next book is a contemporary literary fiction, which I don't typically read a lot of literary fiction. Anytime I do read one though, I always enjoy it, so I need to start sprinkling more of those on my TBR. But this one is called Fishtails by Nettie Jones, and it releases April 15th. The synopsis for this one: zooming between the bohemian demimonde of New York and the affluent black community of Detroit in the 1970s, Louis Jones is a party girl for the ages, a woman in her 30s who has reached a point of freedom, confidence, and mayhem. She is supported in her adventures in every way by her husband, Woody. She is accomplished by her friend Kitty Cat, a gay hustler with impeccable style and a knack of finding all the best spots. She soaks in baths of champagne, powders her nose with cocaine, wakes up on silk sheets with a variety of lovers, and then she is finally truly upended by the handsome, often cruel Brooke, a man who won't tolerate her attempts to take control. I'm interested because this is way out of my comfort zone. This is not the type of book that I typically read. It sounds like it's going to be very scandalous, and I'm excited because, like I said, it's out of my comfort zone. And every once in a while, I do like to read books that kind of make me uncomfortable, that make me, you know, stretch myself a little bit. So I'm excited to read this one. I also really love the cover of this book. Something about the simplicity of it and the colors, the red and the yellow going together, I just draws my eye. So excited about that one. Again, that one is expected to release April 15th. All right, this next book I'm really excited about because it is a historical fiction. I've been reading a lot of historical fiction this year so far, and I've really been enjoying my time with it. So I can't wait to get into another one. This one is called Zeal by Jerkins, and it's going to be released on the 22nd of April. I do believe that this is dual timeline, so I believe we get like the past and the future, or like the past and the present timeline. So it says Harlem 2019. Ardelia and Oliver are hosting their engagement party. As the guests get ready to leave, he hands her a love letter on a yellowing, crumbling piece of paper. And then I guess we switch back to 1865. In Natchez. Discharged from the Union Army as a free man after the war's end, Harrison returns to Mississippi to reunite with the woman that he loves. Upon his arrival at the Freedmen's Bureau, though, he catches the eye of a woman who's working there, who's determined to thwart his efforts to find his beloved. After tragedy strikes, Harrison resigns himself to a life with her. Meanwhile, in Louisiana, the newly free Tirza is teaching at the Freedmen's School and discovers an advertisement in the local paper looking for her. Though she knows Harrison must have placed it and longs to find him, the risk of fleeing are too great, and Tirza chooses the life of seeming security right in front of her. Spanning over 150 years, Morgan Jerkins' extraordinary novel intertwines the stories of these star-crossed lovers and their descendants. So I'm excited, obviously, because I love a good historical fiction. I love when we can go back and forth between timelines, where we get like the past, but we also get the present. And it seems like we're going to be following not just the people who were unable to love each other in the past, but their descendants, and how the inability to connect, I guess, affected the descendants and their lives. So I don't know, I'm really excited. Again, it's historical fiction, and that's really been hitting for me lately. So I'm looking forward to that one. Next, I have Kennedy Ryan, Can't Get Enough. This is book 3 of the Skyland series. I feel like I don't have to say too much about this book. Everyone is excited about this book if they haven't read it already. I know a lot of bookish girlies were able to get their hands on the ARC. I personally haven't even read book 2 yet, so I didn't even request the ARC. There was no point. I still have to read book 2 in the Skyland series, and then I can get to Can't Get Enough. But I am still excited about this book, so I wanted to add it to this list. This one is expected in May 13th. To be exact, this is a contemporary romance where we are following the third friend in this friend group. I believe this is Hendrix's story, and I'm excited. I really enjoyed Hendrix in the first novel, in the first book of the Skyland series, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to love her in the second one as well if I can ever get to that book. And so I'll be adding this one to my shelf. When I'm ready to get to it, I'll have it ready. Next is another romance. I do believe this one is a YA romance. It's a YA romance. It's called It's You Every Time by Charlene Thomas, and this one comes out May 6th. I personally love a good YA, especially a good YA romance. I just think they are so cute. They're like the perfect palette cleansers. They're nothing too serious, but they're just adorable. And this cover, I was like, yeah, I'll add this one to my TBR. Because in a twist of fate, Sydney Michael bumps into a cute boy stranger, Marcus, in the heart of Midtown NYC during an impromptu trip to Duncan. But what had initially been an effort to soften the blow of failing her impending pre-calc exam turns into a day-long, unforgettable adventure when Marcus asks her to have breakfast with him instead. In just a few hours, Sydney's already starting to fall, and there's just something about Marcus that makes it feel like she's known him forever. As the night comes to an end, Sydney can't believe that after all the losses she's faced in the past 2 years, the good part is finally here, and this perfect day gets to be hers, until an accident at the end of the night, quite literally, leaves her stuck in it. So I believe this is going to be like a Freaky Friday thing where they keep experiencing the same date over and over again. Again, this is Black YA romance. I'm so excited about it. And I hope it's just as cute as I'm thinking it's going to be in my head. Again, this one is expected May 6th. So if you are into YA romance, which I know not everyone is, but if you are, I wanted to put this one on your radar. So the next book is also a romance. This one is an adult romance though, and I believe it's a rom-com, so it's like a romantic comedy. And this one is called Only Because It's You by Rebecca, expected to release May 6th. Charming and touching romantic comedy about two best friends, a marriage of convenience, and taking a leap of faith to land exactly where you're meant to be. So it sounds like it's going to be a friends to lovers romance. Ms. is not the marrying kind. She's more of the no strings attached kind. No labels, only fun. So when she finds a diamond ring in her casual but very hot hookups gym bag, she immediately ends things and runs. Cal is one of Miz's best friends, an aspiring actor who moved to Toronto from Ethiopia and is on the brink of his big break. But when he's suddenly at risk of losing his work visa, which would mean leaving Toronto forever, Miz panics. What will she do without him, and what if she never sees him again? So obviously this is going to be a marriage of convenience. Sounds like they're going to get together so that he can stay in Canada, and they're already best friends, so they're probably going to figure out that they actually are really in love. So I'm excited about that one. If you can't tell, I really like and enjoy like cutesy, sweet romances as my palette cleansers. It's really extreme for me. Sometimes I really want like unhinged crazy thriller, or I want like a syrupy sweet fluffy romance. Those two are like my ideal palette cleansers. And obviously I'll be adding a lot of romances to my palette cleanser list. Speaking of romances, here's another one. It's called Audre and Bash Are Just Friends by Tia Williams. This is a YA romance, so again another YA, and it releases May 6th. I'm interested in this one because it follows the daughter of a main character that was in another one of Tia Williams' books, 7 Days in June. That's a super popular book. I gave that book 3 stars. Don't fight me. I know people either really love that book or they're very indifferent about it. I for one was very indifferent. However, the little girl in the book, or the main character's daughter in the book, was my favorite character of the book. Like her sass, I just loved reading about her. I loved reading how smart she was. So when I figured out that the main character of this YA romance was going to be the daughter from that book, I was like, yeah, I want to know more about her. Absolutely. I'm sure we'll get glimpses of her mom and that romance in here as well, but I'm here for the daughter story. It says, meet Audre, junior class president, debate team captain, unofficial student therapist, desperately in need of a good time. Meet Bash, mysterious new senior, everybody's crush, tall, floppy, great taste in jewelry, and king of having a good time. It's the last day of school, and Audre Mercy Moore's life is a mess. Her dad canceled her annual summer visit to his Malibu beach house. Now she's stuck in the claustrophobic apartment with her mom, stepdad, and 1-year-old sister, aka the goblin baby. First of all, I absolutely love that. If you read that 7 Days in June, then you know why I love that. I love that. That we're going to be able to see I figured we would be able to see glimpses of her mom's relationship, but that's awesome. Okay, love it. Under these conditions, she'll never finish writing her self-help book, i.e. the key to winning over Stanford's admissions board. Cut to Bash. Audre hires him to be her fun consultant. His job? To help her complete the experience challenge, her list of 5 wild dares designed to give her juicy book material. She'll get inspo, he'll get paid, everybody wins. He isn't boyfriend material and she's not looking for one. Can they stay professional despite their obvious connection? I'm excited about this because Audre was very grown. She was very grown. She was giving therapy advice to all of her friends, even in 7 Days in June. And so I'm just really interested in seeing how her character develops and what she's up to now. So I'm really excited about this one. The cover I think is absolutely adorable and I can't wait to read that. Next, we'll get away from the romance, the YA romance, the adult romance, and we'll get into some more historical fiction. This one I'm super excited about. I have not heard anyone talk about this book. I'm not saying that people aren't talking about it. I'm just saying I personally haven't heard anyone reference this book, and I'm so excited to get my hands on it. It's called The Great Mann by Kyra Lurie. Again, this is historical fiction. It is a retelling of The Great Gatsby. Set among LA's black elite, a young veteran finds his way post-war, pulls into a new world of tantalizing possibilities and explosive tensions. Okay, first of all, The Great Gatsby, retelling, black elites, you have me. Okay, you have me. I have to read this book. In 1945, Charlie Trummel steps off a cross-country train into the vibrant tapestry of Los Angeles. Lured by his cousin Margaret's invitation to the esteemed West Adams Heights, Charlie is immediately captivated by the black opulence of LA's rechristened Sugar Hill. Settling in at a local actress's energetic boarding house, Charlie discovers a different way of life, one brimming with opportunity, from a promising career at a black-owned insurance firm, the absence of Jim Crow, to the potential of an unforgettable romance. But nothing dazzles quite like James Reaper Mann. Reaper's extravagant parties, attended by luminaries like Lena Horne and Hattie McDaniel, draw Charlie in, bringing in wealth and excess within his reach. But as Charlie's unusual bond with Reaper deepens, so does the tension in the neighborhood as white neighbors, frustrated by their own dwindling fortunes, ignite a landmark court case that threatens the community's well-being with promises of retribution. If you know me and my reading taste, you know I'm going to eat this book up if it is executed correctly. The synopsis is just like calling me, Kayla, this is a book for you. You are the target audience. It was written with you specifically in mind. Stop. Hattie McDaniel, Lena Horne, like actual historical facts, things that were happening in history, but done so in a fictional way that's entertaining and still fun to read about. I'm so excited. Told from the unique perspective of a young man who has just returned from a grueling segregated war, the great man weaves a compelling narrative of wealth and class, illuminating the complexities of Black identity and education in post-war America. Give it to me. Give it to me now. I would request the ARC, but I don't want the ARC. I want to read it when it comes out. I want to savor it. I want to have the physical book in my hand. I don't want the ARC. I'm going to wait. This book is going to be released June 10th. So I have quite some time to wait, but this needs to be on your radar. If you're into historical fiction and this is not already on your radar, you need to add it to the list, babe. Add it to the list, okay? We have one more book and then I will let you guys go. This one is another book that I'm excited about because it's kind of out of my comfort zone, but I'm really excited to read it. And it's called These Heathens. First of all, the title of this book I love, but it's by Myah Mckenzie and it is expected to release June 17th. This one is also tagged as historical fiction, but it's also tagged as queer and LGBT. It says, in this vibrant, gratifying novel, a pious, small-town teenager travels to Atlanta to get an abortion and finds herself smack in the middle of the civil rights movement and the secret lives of queer Black people. First of all, her traveling to Atlanta in order to get an abortion, although this is historical fiction and this is taking place in the 1960s, sounds very relevant to today's time. Where do you get an abortion in 1960 Georgia, especially if the town midwife goes to the same church as your parents? For 17-year-old Doris Steele, the answer is Atlanta, where her favorite teacher, Miss Lucas, calls upon her brash, wealthy childhood best friend Sylvia for help. While waiting to hear from the doctor who has agreed to do the procedure, Doris spends the weekend scandalized, but also drawn to the people who move in and out of Sylvia's life. Celebrities whom Doris has seen in the pages of Jet and Ebony, political leaders like Coretta Scott King and Diana Nash, women who dance close together, atheists, and even more shocking, Miss Lucas seems right at home. The young people Doris encounters are no less surprising. When he's not flirting too hard or talking too much, Sylvia's nephew Dexter brings Doris into the heart of Atlanta's civil rights movement, where some activists practice nonviolence to prepare for sit-ins, while others carry guns to protect Black families from the Klan. From the guests at a queer kickback to the student activists at a SNCC conference, Doris suddenly finds herself surrounded by so many people who seem to know exactly who or what they want. Doris knows she doesn't want a baby, but what does she want? Will this trip help her find out? These Heathens is a funny, poignant story about Black women's obligations and ambitions, what we owe to ourselves, and the transformative power of leaving your bubble, even for just one chaotic weekend. I'm excited about that. It seems like Doris is going to find herself in this chaotic weekend. I think the commentary is going to be absolutely amazing. I'm excited to see what historical figures the author is able to work into this as well. I'm just excited overall. It seems like Doris is going to have a very life-changing weekend, and I can't wait to see the character development that I am assuming is going to take place. So super excited about this one as well. Expected June 17th. If you're into historical fiction, I think this is one that you definitely need to add to your list. Those are all the books that I'm excited about for Q2. I'm sure there are more, but these are the ones that are like at the top of my mind. These are the ones that I have written down in my reading journal, like save the date. Remember, these books come out on this date. You need to go pick them up or you need to order them. So I'm super excited. I wanted to share this list with you all just in case you haven't heard of any of these books and they sound interesting to you. You can now add them to your TBR, or you can now request them from your library. Thank you so much if you made it to the end of today's video and listening to me yap about these books. If you did, please leave this emoji to let me know that you stayed and watched the entire video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.